Hey there, it's Seb Fry the Realtor here, and in this video I'm going to take a deep dive into what's going on with the Santa Cruz County real estate market here in August of 2022. If you heard the market has gone off the deep end and the sky is falling and you're really worried about what's going on, you need to watch this video. Alright, well before I get into all that, would you do me a huge favor? Would you mash that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my YouTube channel? And don't forget to click the little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a fun, new, fact-filled, and very timely video, kind of like this one. Alright, well now that that's out of the way, let's talk about what's going on with the Santa Cruz County real estate market. Now, you probably have heard that the market has undergone a bit of a change lately, and that is a fact. There's no getting around that, but I'm here to tell you that it's not as bad as you may have been led to believe. And guess what? I've got all kinds of charts and statistics and data to back that up. So without any further ado, let's jump right on into it. All right, well, this first chart that I have here, this right here, Santa Cruz County median price all the way back to 2018. Take a look at this. Now, this is single family home price, and if you look at that, you can see that in July of 2022, median price, Santa Cruz County, $1,250,000, and that is quite a ways down from where we were in March of 2022, when we had an all-time record, mind-blowing high of $1.6 million. Now, when you go back and you look from March to July, you'll say, wow, that's a big correction, a big adjustment in pricing. Well, I would say that is true, but March and April, those were singular months in the history. But when you go back and you look at July of 2022 compared to all the other Julys here in this chart, you can see that home prices are still up substantially. Now, it's one thing to talk about how much a home is going to sell for, right? Or how much more it sold for this year than last year. But what's the percentage, right? Going back several years, I have another chart, which is the year-over-year appreciation rates since 2020. Again, not that long, but if you look at it, you can see that 2020, not really that much going on. Of course, the pandemic hit very early in that time period. But then, as about August of 2020, man, the prices just kept skyrocketing up until about June and July. And May to some extent, when prices have settled down quite a bit more. And this is very typical, really. What we're seeing right now is sort of a more typical home price appreciation year over year for the Santa Cruz market. I don't think that anyone is going to say that, what we saw like in June of 2021, where the median price was up 38% year over year, that clearly is not sustainable, and I don't know that we're ever going to see anything like that ever again. So it's good to always look back in history for perspective, because I think perspective is really, really important when it comes to like understanding real estate markets. So this chart right here shows what's going on with appreciation in Santa Cruz County since 1990. And when you look at it since 1990, my goodness, it is clear that home prices do not always go up. There are numerous periods of time when home prices have gone down, but guess what? This is not one of those times, right? Home prices are still up year to date 14% versus where they were a year ago. And yeah, they're up 23% last year, but look, in 2000, home prices rose 26% in the year 2000, and guess what? The market didn't crash right after that. Well, the market did crash, obviously, but it took another 6 years, 5-6 years for the market to crash after that. So, the funny thing about the median home price is it doesn't really care about, what homes go into the basket, right? I mean, are they oceanfront homes, ocean view homes on big lots, on small lots? Are they big houses, small houses, old houses, new houses, right? And as you know, in Santa Cruz County, we have a very eclectic housing stock, right? Well, check this out. This is Santa Cruz County house values by sort of area. And guess what's the most expensive part of Santa Cruz County? Are you ready? Okay, it's Rio Del Mar and Seascape. That's right, Rio Del Mar Seascape, median price $1,925,000, and you're saying, wow, why is it so high? And that has to do with a couple of factors, 3 factors, maybe a lot of ocean view homes there, good proximity to the beach, and those homes in Seascape, they tend to be fairly large. But next up, Capitola, right? Capitola, not that many ocean view homes actually in Capitola, but a lot of them have really great proximity to the beach and other amenities, which people find very valuable and are happy to pay for. Further on down the list, West Side, $1,550,000 is the median price on the West Side, not that much ahead of Scotts Valley. But then let's go down to the bottom of this chart here. Watsonville, $867,500 is the median sale price. Boulder Creek, $810,000. So Watsonville is not as cheap as Boulder Creek. But then check out this next slide right here. This is the Santa Cruz County house values measured as the median price per square foot. And at the top of this list is Capitola at $1,442 a square foot. Again, now in our last chart, Seascape Rio Del Mar was the most expensive area, but here Capitola has the highest price per square foot. Why is that? That's because homes in Capitola are smaller than homes in Rio Del Mar Seascape, generally speaking. The larger the house, the lower the price per square foot. The smaller the house, the greater the price per square foot. So that's why Capitola is tops on this list. But when you go to the bottom, you'll see Boulder Creek and Watsonville, although they are flipped. In the last chart, it showed that Watsonville had higher prices than Boulder Creek, and the reason why is because Boulder Creek has a lot of smaller houses. Watsonville has a bunch of newer, larger houses, and so the prices are more in Watsonville, but the price per square foot in Watsonville is less because the bigger the house, the lower the price per square foot. And that fact actually is highlighted pretty well here in this next slide, which shows you just how big the median house is in all these different areas. And because we're talking about Watsonville and Boulder Creek, let's just go take a look. I mean, Watsonville, 1656 square foot median. And in Boulder Creek, 1434 square foot median. So that explains why the homes in Watsonville are more expensive than Boulder Creek, but less expensive on a price per square foot basis. So if you are a long-time viewer of my videos, and God bless you if you are, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You'll know, or you may recall, that I've often said that if you want to know which direction home prices are headed, you need to pay attention to inventory, right? The homes which are for sale. How many homes are for sale? Well, this chart right here shows active listings in Santa Cruz County just this year, right? Compared to this same time period last year. So in July of 2022 in Santa Cruz County, there were 344 active listings. But in July of 2021, there was a mere 249 active listings, or put another way, there are 38% more homes for sale this July compared to July a year ago, and that will have a significant impact on how long it takes your house to sell, how much it will ultimately sell for, price reductions, all that good stuff. So with that in mind, go check out these other charts here too. This is active listings on the market in Santa Cruz County since January of 2017. And when you look at it on the far right, what does it tell you? It tells you that in July of 2022, we had about 344 homes for sale, as I previously mentioned. And yeah, that's a lot more than we had, at any point really in the last couple of years or so. But when you look at the years prior to that, it's actually still very low historically speaking. So yeah, inventory is up, but it is not up above average. In fact, I would say it's probably still fairly below average, even so. But what happens when you have a lot of homes for sale? Well, one of the things that happens is that people tend to reduce their price in order to get their homes sold. So that's one way you can tell sort of what's going on with a market dynamic. And this chart right here, the price reductions on active listings, it really shows you quite a bit about the state of the current market. You can see that in July of 2021, there were only 60 homes which had a price reduction, but in July of 2020, 140 homes had a price reduction. That is an increase of 133% from a year ago. There's a lot more price reductions happening in today's market than there were a year ago. And that does not necessarily mean that prices are weakening. What it shows to me is that sellers did not change their pricing strategy to reflect what's going on in today's market. They were using last year's pricing strategy, which is put any price you want to on it and it's probably going to sell. That doesn't work anymore. Last year it worked to some degree, but times are changing and you really need to pay a much more close attention to what you are asking for your home in today's Santa Cruz County real estate market. Okay, well, this next chart here shows listings accepting offers, or listings which went under contract. And again, this is just a year to date, this year versus last year, and it shows a pretty dramatic shift. In July of 2022, 180 homes went under contract in Santa Cruz County. That's houses, condos, and townhouses. A year ago, 238. That is a drop of about 24%. And you're saying, Seb, wow, that's a pretty big drop in homes going under contract. And you're right, it is a pretty big drop. But guess what? Our big brother over there, Santa Clara County, they experienced a drop of more like 40% in homes going under contract. So overall, Santa Cruz County, not doing too bad. So that last chart, that showed you the absolute numbers of homes which were going under contract. But another way to look at it is, what's the percent of available homes going under contract? Not actual numbers, but a percentage. So this chart shows the percentage of listings accepting offers here in Santa Cruz County. And so we can see that in July of 2022, 31% of homes listed for sale in July went under contract. July a year ago, it was 41% of homes which were listed for sale went under contract. That was a pretty brisk month last year. But this year, still 31%. That's not too bad. That's still, if you ask me, a sign of a pretty healthy market. So homes going under contract is one thing. That's a wonderful experience. But that's not the time you pop the champagne, right? You pop the champagne when the home sale actually closes, when you give them the keys and they give you a gigantic amount of money for your home. What's that looking like? Well, in 2022, in July, there were 155 closed sales in Santa Cruz County. That's houses, condos, and townhouses. A year ago, there were 235 closings in July, and that is a really healthy drop of 34%. So definitely a big correction in terms of homes actually closing this year compared to a year ago. Well, it's one thing to compare this year to like last year, right? But last year was pretty exceptional. But what about a more normal year? So check out this chart right here. This shows longer term trends of Santa Cruz County home sales, right? So this chart right here shows how many homes are selling in any one given month. And again, July 2022 was 155. And that actually is down considerably from just about any July over the past several years. Now, what about luxury home sales? So let's take a look and see what's going on in the Santa Cruz County luxury market, which at Compass we define for Santa Cruz County as any home which sells for more than $2 million. So this chart right here compares luxury home sales for the first 7 months of this year compared to the first 7 months of 2021. And we can see that in July, 17 homes over $2 million closed escrow in Santa Cruz County, but in July of 2021, that number was 26. So it's a decrease of about 35% year over year in luxury home sales over $2 million here in Santa Cruz County. But again, let's take a longer perspective. So this next chart right here, this one goes all the way back to January 2018. And we can see 2018, 2019, not that many luxury homes selling, but all of a sudden, boom, in 2020, 2021, 2022, big increase in homes selling for over $2 million here in Santa Cruz County, with, of course, that massive, glorious spike in April 2022. And if you ask me, like, why was pricing so high in March and April? It wasn't that all homes everywhere were getting like these really incredible prices. It was that we had a lot of people buying some really nice, expensive homes in Santa Cruz County, and it really threw out the median averages for the county. And you can see that very clearly here in this chart. Now, one thing is, if you're a seller, what you really love to see is you really love to see a whole bunch of offers coming in on your property. And when you get multiple offers, what normally happens is you end up selling over asking price. And so this next chart right here shows how many listings in Santa Cruz County are selling with multiple offers over asking price. Check it out. This chart goes back several years as well to January 2018. And you can see that in April 2022, why something like 75% of all homes in Santa Cruz County received multiple offers and sold over asking price. But that was not very much higher from spring of 2021, but it was lots higher than everything which preceded it in the past several years. Now, at the very end of this chart, we have a July 2022, and in July 2022, still 55% of homes received multiple offers and sold over asking price. And I think anywhere else in the country, they would still say, wow, that is a phenomenally hot, healthy real estate market. Well, it's one thing to know what percentage of homes are getting multiple offers and selling over asking price. You probably really want to know is how much over asking price are these homes selling? And that's a very good question, but I have a wonderful chart which goes over that, so check this out. This is the average sales price to original list price percentage here in Santa Cruz County. So check it out. This goes back to January 2018, and we have that white dashed line, which is 100%. And you can see that for most of the past 2 years, houses have been selling on average way over 100%, but that has not always been the case. There's many years where homes sell significantly below 100% here in Santa Cruz County. Notably, in December 2018, what was that? Homes were selling like 93% on average, something like that. And today in Santa Cruz County, you can see at the far end of the chart, we're selling about 101% of full asking price. So that's down a lot from 110% earlier in the year, and 106, 107% or whatever. But still, compared to many prior years, 101%, certainly not bad and probably somewhere around average. So every seller wants to get multiple offers on their property and they want to have it sell way over asking price. But another thing that's really important to sellers is they want to have their house sell very quickly. In a lot of the country, homes take weeks or months to sell, years to sell. In Santa Cruz County, people ask, well, how many days is it going to take me to get this house sold? And this chart right here shows the average days on market here in Santa Cruz County. And if you look at the far right of the chart in July, you can see that the average days on market, something like 19, something like that. Not too bad. And in fact, it's better than at almost any time in the past, 3.5 years, according to this chart. And I think if we were to go back in time even further than this, we would see that, 19 days on average to get your house sold in Santa Cruz County. That, I think, is very, very quick by any historical measure. And that, to me, shows the strength and desirability of the Santa Cruz County real estate market. And that's the thing, the Santa Cruz County real estate market, it's very healthy. Looking at these charts, I think it's hard to draw any other conclusion other than that the market in Santa Cruz is in really good shape. And yes, it is not as good as March or April. Those were extraordinary times. They could be repeated again, but I don't think they're going to be repeated anytime soon. But certainly, I think by any objective measure, the market in Santa Cruz County, it's doing just fine. The thing is, it's not doing as just fine as it was earlier in the year, and it's not trending in a really great direction. It's trending down, but it's not trending alarmingly down, right? Like, it's kind of gentle, right? And I don't think we're going to see like a massive crash, but I do think that prices are going to drift down as they have been, for the past several months. And how much more they're going to drift down is anyone's guess. But if I myself was looking to sell my house at any point in the next year, 2 or 3 years, and it mattered to me how much money I was going to get for my house, and if I realized that by waiting maybe 6 months or a year, 18 months, I could lose, 5%, 10%, well, that might be $100,000. If I was going to lose $100,000, would I want to wait to sell my house, another year or two? That might make me decide that this is a year to sell your house. And next year is going to be a fine year. Year after that, it's going to be a fine year. It's always a good year to sell your house in Santa Cruz because there's always a market for it. The question is, what's the price for homes like yours in the market of the future? And no one can know for sure, but certainly the market is excellent today. Going forward, probably not as good in the short term. Long term, I think the market will do just fine. All right, well, listen, I really hope that you have enjoyed watching this video. And if you have, you'll probably also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of my most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do go take a look at some of those. And please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it if you would do that. All right, that's all I have for this episode. Thanks again for watching, and please stay tuned.